What's up, everyone? So, there's an article here by Fadeaway World. Stephen Curry's legacy could be ruined if the Warriors lose to the Celtics in the 2022 NBA Finals. So, let's just break it down. So, Stephen Curry is widely considered the greatest point guard of the game right now, and the player is mainly responsible for changing the game with his style of play. His unparalleled shooting and skills have made Curry the most terrifying guard to play against at any moment. The superstar guard is clearly the Finals MVP favorite this season as he builds on his incredible resume. His career is already enough to give him Hall of Fame honors, and he has managed to win 3 championships as a member of the Golden State Warriors. So let's just get into the meat and potatoes of this article. So a perception that Steph only shows up when the Warriors are winning disappears when the team needs them. So critics are always quick to point out that the most impactful point guard in the game piles on when the Warriors are ahead and uh, and has multiple appearances where he cannot bring the team out of adversity. So a critic or a hater or someone who doesn't watch the game closely wouldn't realize that the value that Stephen Curry offers in the court is actually way greater than that meets the eye. Because if you look at even multiple possessions, that even he doesn't even score, but you can see that he's the guy that is responsible for forcing the other team to change their defense so that they can guard him, and hence creating wide open looks for these guys. So the perception that he only shows up when the Warriors are winning, I can say is just flawed. And I feel like if you watch the game closely, if you watch like the whole 2 hours of the whole game, you'll see the impact that Stephen Curry has. But one thing that draws people to this argument, they'll say that Stephen Curry doesn't show up when the team needs him. Then they'll reference the 2015 NBA Finals where he quote unquote got locked up by Matthew Dellavedova in 2016 when they blew the 3-1 lead in the finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers led by LeBron James. They'll peg that, and they'll say that when the team needed him to win and close out the series, he couldn't. Despite even winning the 2015 NBA Finals, critics said that Stephen Curry wasn't even the focal point of the offense, despite him and Klay Thompson being the Splash Bros that led this team to 67 games, led by great creative offenses like Mark Jackson at the time. In 2016, you can see he wasn't able to get the job done in the finals, going up. They came back down 3-1 from the OKC Thunder in the West Finals. Then they went ahead. The Warriors went ahead and went up 3-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they were not able to close out the series. And also that's just adding on to it. Then you can also see the situation with the whole situation with KD coming in. So that's thing that just throws a spanner in the work. That's when this perception comes in that Steph only shows up when the Warriors are winning. So it's actually pretty funny. So there's also the 2021 playing tournament where Curry couldn't get the job done for the Warriors when the team was fighting for a chance in the playoffs. There are a ton of critics who always point out how Curry is lacking the impact that the Golden State Warriors needed, and one of them being a renowned guy in Skip Bayless. So Steph is a special shooter. I've never seen anything like him, but a special player. I can't go there yet. I need to see more. So Stephen Curry has proven and he has shown that he is the best shooter. He is actually the greatest shooter in the whole world. But you can see guys like Skip Bayless don't want to give him the credit the same way he doesn't want to give LeBron. So that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. The Warriors always seem to have things going for them, but in moments when it has not been the case, Curry has not performed to the level of his all-time great compatriots, contemporaries. Um, most of the time, the greatest point guards, one of the greatest point guard, Magic Johnson or Isaiah Thomas, have never faced these types of criticisms, and I just feel it's unfair because you can't compare different eras. And the next one is it's actually a pretty funny one. An eyebrow raising play-in loss to Memphis in 2021. Okay, you can say that the Warriors they blew a game against Memphis, but given the whole situation that they had at the time, Stephen Curry tried to wield his team to as much success that they could have without even Clay, without his splash bro in Clay Thompson. He had to carry a lot of load in the offense. I don't want to give excuses for him, but they lost to the Lakers in the game to determine the seventh seed in the play-in tournament. Then he went to Memphis, and they lost to Memphis. So one of those moments where Steph Curry could not deal with adversity was in the 2021 play-in tournament, where the Golden State Warriors were fighting for a chance to compete in the playoffs. Any time an all-time great player misses the playoffs, it's not a good look for them, because that is the ultimate purpose of competing in the NBA during the regular season. Curry held his own on the stat sheet, 39 points, while Ja Morant outshone him. So you can see, critics and casuals alike will come in and say that Ja Morant is way better than Stephen Curry, which is it's pretty crazy. So I mean, the whole situation is, it's so funny. Then Stephen Curry was quoted as saying, "You don't know, you don't want to see us next year. You can't talk about the collection of guys that are out there this year, this last stretch that we didn't have injuries, that we lacked, but we had a lot of heart." So he said he was just mentioning that they want to see us next year, and hindsight is the next year in 2022, and now they're in the NBA Finals, and they got their revenge on the Memphis Grizzlies by knocking them out in 5 games, 6 games. They knocked them out in 6 games. So yeah, that's that. And very poor impact on defensive impact. I mean, Stephen Curry is not the greatest defender. Stephen Curry is legendary. He's a legendary offensive player due to his shooting and ball handling, but he's not known as a consistent defensive stopper, which shouldn't be the case, because if you have a guy like Klay Thompson, and you have Draymond Green, you're not asked to carry the load in defense. So I feel like this is a very flawed argument. If you let the player focus on being productive offensively, you shouldn't pin him down and say that he should be this, he should be that. So this is an argument that they try to draw the whole LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant comparison to Stephen Curry, but I feel like that's just flawed and that doesn't tell the whole story. The point guard is constantly criticized for being a pushover on defense, although he's not blessed the ability or the skills to be a lockdown defender like Klay Thompson. Steph is 6'2" and only weighs 185 pounds, meaning that he's a slender player without any physical gifts to actually be an impact player against opposing guards who are normally bigger and stronger than him. So like a guy like Ben Simmons, he it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I don't, honestly, even in the Warriors offense, I don't even the Warriors defensively, they should excuse Stephen Curry, and allow guys like Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, to become lockdown defenders. So they should give Stephen Curry less. I don't want to say less, but not much defensive assignments. They can focus offensively. So that's one of the things that um, that's one of the things that critics just love to use on Stephen Curry, and I just feel like it doesn't. It's not a good look for even being objective on it. It's not good, because being objective, you have to look at something holistically. You just cannot just nitpick and say he's not a good defender. But if you look at how it's impact offensively, this guy gives you 28, 30, or even 32 points per game. So something like that in a different given stretch. A shocking 3-1 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. So this is one of those arguments that I keep seeing. At the time, I was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, so I was very happy when the Cleveland Cavaliers won in 7. But one of the biggest black marks on Stephen Curry's career will be that 2016 finals collapse, where the Golden State Warriors faltered in the playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Despite holding a 3-1 lead, Curry couldn't manage to get one more victory in the last 3 games and kill the competition. Almost 6 years later, Curry acknowledged the loss as a painful one, but wouldn't take it back if it meant losing the 2017-2018 ring. So that is one thing. But at least when they lost, they retooled, they signed KD, and they went and won back to back, and they got their revenge on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, even when you lose that, if you look back even at the NBA Finals, he did what he had to do. I mean, the guy averaged damn near like 28 points. He did everything that he had to do there, but it wasn't enough to stop LeBron James and Kyrie. So using that as a Achilles heel for Stephen Curry, and looking forward at it when they signed KD and they went and won back to back and got their revenge on the Cleveland Cavaliers, not once but twice. So something that um, it's something that amazes me when you see someone just reliving that. So you should just let the past go like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a stain on his legacy. It's just like the 2011. No, it's not like the 2011, because 2011 it was just LeBron James, capitulating with that Miami Heat squad. But for the Golden State Warriors. It's actually it was very embarrassing, but at least they went and got their revenge. They beat the Cavs in five in 2017 in the 2017 NBA Finals. In the 2018 Finals, they swept the Cavs with LeBron James. So I mean, that's that. No bones about that. So and zero Finals MVPs on his name. So as much as this argument keeps being repeated every single time by these NBA analysts, by far the biggest critique on Stephen Curry's career is the fact that he doesn't hold a Finals MVP award to his name. The Golden State Warriors guard has won 3 championships, but he was not the best player on the team. Any of those teams. In 2015, Andre Iguodala changed the series as soon as the Cleveland Cavaliers went up 2-1. So as much as you can say Andre Iguodala only averaged 10 points in that whole series, and he was the primary guard for LeBron James. And LeBron James averaged about 35 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. I don't know if that's lockdown defense or anything. So, and also Stephen Curry was being guarded by Marty Dellavedova. I don't know why they say that Marty Dellavedova is the Curry stopper, but I don't know. Curry was the best scorer, but Iggy's defense and clutch plays, which is debatable. Iggy's defense. LeBron James averaged 35 points, 12 rebounds and 8 assists. I don't know if that's lockdown defense. And clutch plays helped the Warriors to close out the deal against LeBron James, even if they didn't feature even Kyrie or Kevin Love. So, yeah, I mean, Iggy, no, not much. He didn't have a very spectacular series. He only averaged 10 points, so it was actually lower. Of course, when Kevin Durant was in the Warriors, Kyrie had to accept the backseat role for the 4-time scoring champions. Steph was not the better player on both ends of the floor than Durant. Durant is a 4-time scoring champion, so and there was no way he was winning either the Finals MVP over the former KC Thunder star. So KD won both Finals MVPs back to back. Had played LeBron James in 2017-2018. Quite frankly, without Durant competing as the best player in the world, it can be argued that Steph would not have won those titles over the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is true. If the Warriors didn't sign Kevin Durant in the 2016 free agency, I don't feel like they would have gone even to win back to back. I feel like the Cleveland Cavaliers would have just come in and just used the same formula to beat them, and they will be 2-time champions at the time. So it is hard to find an all-time great player with multiple championships that doesn't have a Finals MVP award. But given this whole situation, this whole circumstance, you can see clearly that they're just using this just to pin down a Stephen Curry and just besmirch his legacy, which I find it very appalling that someone can come in and say, even if you can come in and say that he didn't have any impact because he didn't win a Finals MVP. If you look at the whole situation, even if they won the 2016 NBA Finals, I don't feel like Stephen Curry will still have gotten that MVP because Draymond Green balled out, especially in that Game 7. He possibly would have gotten that Finals MVP. But 2015 was Andre Iguodala. 2017-2018, undoubtedly, it would have not gone to KD. The Finals MVP will then have gone to Stephen Curry. It had to have to go to KD. So, I mean, as much as the media pundits try to say that, I just feel like that's another flawed argument, and it doesn't hold any water. So Stephen Curry has the most to lose in the 2022 NBA Finals. So Stephen Curry's legacy is on the line this season because his playoff failures are well documented. His 3 championships are certainly impressive, but the fact that he doesn't have a Finals MVP award is shocking for a player of his caliber. So the Golden State Warriors star will correct a ton of issues by winning his 4th championships and his first Finals MVP. But losing means critics will continue flooding and coming at him with this whole argument. So I don't like this argument. I mean, as much as you don't like Stephen Curry, you shouldn't come in and just say that just because he doesn't even have a Finals MVP is not it's not impactful. You can see this whole situation where they try to compare Stephen Curry to LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, that whole thing, and I feel like Stephen Curry gets the short end of the stick, but they don't. The whole situation doesn't tell the whole story of how impactful Stephen Curry is as a player and how transcendent he has been, and how he has changed the game with the 3-point shot. So, yeah, I mean, but Curry managed to win his first championship against injury-riddled Cleveland Cavaliers in 2015, and Kevin Durant's presence stacked the deck entirely in Golden State's favor in 2017-2018. But if Curry fails to close out the series against an inexperienced Boston Celtics side, that marks yet another occasion where the point guard could not overcome adversity to win a championship and also capture his first finals MVP award. And I mean, pundits will just be roaring and coming at Stephen Curry like that and telling us that he's not it, he can't do it. So I feel like I just feel for him. But honestly, the way they have been playing Game 2, they tied up the series 1-1, and I feel like if they continue playing that, it's just going to be another short series like the Dallas Mavericks series. And I have a feeling that it's going to be worse in 5 or worse in 6. Yeah, 5 or 6 games. They'll just close out this series because they have the talent, they have the skill, they have experience, and they have been there in that stage. Boston Celtics, they have not been there for at least 12 years. So this is the first time for them. The Warriors have made the final six. So they have made. I mean, all those finals appearances, they have done everything that they had to do. They have made the finals 6 in the past 8 years. So no, not much debate on that. So I mean, I got the Warriors in 5. Just go Warriors in 5. So yeah, man, that's your article, and I'm out. Peace.